Good evening. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Tuesday after the bell, Tuesday evening. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. We had another down day. Was not really, I was expecting a low, a minor low, and it was a micro low to be in, but I am looking at this being the main stop. We'll go through SPY on the weekly, daily, and 65-minute and show you there's not a whole lot that changed with the game plan. We re-entered into more calls, and we're looking for a bounce, a tradable bounce, and then some lower prices to come. And how much lower? Should be pretty devastating 5-wave move next. But first, we have to get through this bounce first. Okay, so we have SPY on the weekly time frame. By the way, don't forget to like the video. And if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, subscribe. We're looking at SPY on the weekly time frame, and I want to show these levels here. I just want to show you what we're getting into. You see, these are pretty good lows and resistance, highs, lows. We're getting into the zone here. So we're right into the bottom of the zone. We're kind of peeking through there. I don't think we're just going to cut through. It's possible, but there's a little bit of demand here, and I do suspect we start our bounce as soon as tomorrow, perhaps even gapping up tomorrow. Which I actually, we're up on the market right now. I didn't even really notice that. I'm just looking at the numbers now. I was out running kids around today. So we're in this zone. I do suspect we gap up, perhaps, or at least reverse tomorrow off of this zone. We peek through it. If you're getting too bearish into the zone, I think you might lose out on this one. But on the weekly time frame, you see how you like to get into these zones, and then you have these wicks. So there's wicks all around here. You got through the zone and wicked back through. Now, I know that we closed right on the bottom of it, but tomorrow that really doesn't mean anything. It could be a reversal at that. The week's not over, so this weekly candle is not, it still can wick just like any of these candles here. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's throw on just a couple indicators. We're right at that 50 EMA. So even if we gap down tomorrow, I do suspect that gap will be filled right away, and we continue our bounce at that point. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but we're getting pretty oversold on the daily and the 65. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, but I think our probability at this point now is higher. So throwing on the Keltner channels, you see we're right at it. It's very similar to the 50-day moving, 50-week moving period, moving average. So again, if we get down there, I don't think this is the time. See, all this is rising. The weekly is still in an uptrend, you guys. So we can't expect this market to go straight down. There should be some bounces before each level there. So we'll be looking for that tomorrow. Again, if we gap down, we have plenty of things happening. The 50-week moving average, and we have the Keltner channel bottom for the week. Let's go ahead and look at the Ichimoku. So we do have the moving averages starting to curl. We couldn't get back over this one here. And so just below, we have plenty of room before we hit the cloud, because we're technically still in an uptrend. We have to get below the cloud. We have to start challenging these lows here, break down. We have some work to do on the weekly to consider this a downtrend so far. Now, let's go ahead and move to the daily time frame. See if we can get some more information off of this. Again, I do think that we are looking for a bounce. We broke down from some levels. You notice that this is our zone here on the weekly. It's just a little bit. I mean, we can adjust it, but our consolidation zones that we have here, we broke through that. here we broke through and came back up. You can adjust these a little bit to be a little bit more of the weeklies, but still, it doesn't matter. We broke down from it. Can we get back into that area? I'm not sure. I think so. I think that's what we're going to do, but this bounce should not be a spectacular bounce. And I'll show you why in just a little bit on the SPY. And by the way, if you want to help us out more than the like, don't forget to like the video, but if you want to go down in the description, there's plenty of ways to help us out at that. Okay, so you had this pivot here as well, where you had two touches, so it's not a true trend line. We did have a reaction off of it, but we broke down from that as well. So we're going to leave that on there, but it's not that important to us at this point. Okay, we're in the zone. I said in yesterday's video, we break down here, and it looks like we're going to head lower. We could continue to grind lower, but I do think that maybe we get another move to the downside. Let's see if we can see where our moving averages are. There we go. We're right here on the 200-day moving average, the exponential moving average. So this is a really good spot to get a reaction, get the bounce that we're talking about. This should be a tradable bounce, but not real significant. And I'll show you in just a second on where our targets are. It's very similar to yesterday. There's not anything changed. We had our initial move down, and our initial move down, then a bounce back, and now we're looking for a 5-wave move to the downside. Okay, so we should go much slower. We just we have to navigate these bounces, and unfortunately, yesterday I thought the low was in, so we gave back a little bit of our profits, but that's the name of the game. We have to. We should have checked out some of the different options for the downside. But when we gapped underneath here, I had to take off some of the near term calls that we had and readjust. And now we're in near term, weekly, and daily calls, and we'll be looking for futures trades in the morning. Okay. So let's throw on, we have our Keltner channel here, and that's what we're looking for. Is we're way out of this. We're way out of the channel. And now we're coming into the 200-day. I suspect we get our bounce. We're pushing the limits, and we need a bounce here. I just don't see this going much further. And here's our cloud. Again, we're way underneath the cloud. We're getting a lot of distance. I know we can go further. It's happened before on the upside, but we're just getting ahead of ourselves. And I do suspect that we're getting a bounce pretty soon here. But it is showing that we're bearish. I don't think we're going to really retest the triangle in particular. We have to be ready for that type of price action, but I don't see that happening. It's possible. Now, I'll just go ahead and go to the Elliott wave on the daily time frame and keep this real simple for you. Okay, this is our 1, 2, and we're looking for wave 3. Our projection on wave 3 is 162. That's what I talk about over and over, 411 area. So nothing has changed. Price action is going towards our target. We're looking for that target. Unfortunately, the near term, the micro term, I got that wrong. We got the bounce in that, we made money on the bounce, but we gave it back on the gap down. So I do think we fill this gap, but just the simple version of this is we have a 1, 2, and we're heading down to 3. Nothing goes in a straight line. We're looking for one more tradable bounce. You got to be careful. You got to be more tactical on this this next bounce. It's not going to be as simple. Probably not going to be as simple as this bounce here, where it's an easy zigzag. It's probably going to be something a little bit more of a triangle or a flat pattern, something a little more difficult. Could be a rectangle, it could be all kinds of things, but our target still remains down here to wave 3. So the bears are in control, and so far our target is coming into fruition. And then we get a bounce from there, another tradable bounce, and then we get wave 5. Now let's talk about the 65 minute. Let's go down to the 65 so we can kind of check things out from our perspective. You have that rising pivot that I was talking about, broke down from it. We have a little doji, a little possible reversal doji right here that may be the start of our reverse to perhaps come close the gap. I don't know if we break the trend line here, but possible that we close this gap, and I'll show you. I'll have to adjust my targets here. Let's see. Let's change this to a channel just so we have something to somewhere about there. Should be okay. Okay, so we have the bottom of the channel. We're looking to retest the top of the channel here. And I'm not sure that this is going to be our target anymore. Let's go ahead and fix this. And I'll show you how I do that. We're looking for the Elliott wave pattern here. And I did already adjust these. I'll back up just a little bit. You just want to make sure our entire move is in here. Okay, so I adjusted this. So from the top of the possible wave 3, I guess I got to explain that a little bit better. Let me clear this board up a little bit. Okay, so get those out of here. We're looking for an ABC. These aren't projections of where this is going to be. This is just, I'm going to have an ABC pattern somehow in this correction here, and should make it up to the 382. That's the zone, anywhere from the 23.6 to 382. So, okay, here's what's happening. Remember, on the daily time frame, we have our wave 1, our wave 2, and our target is wave 3 down here for the near term. So that's 162% extension. Now, it's super important. How do we get down to this point? You know, at first I was saying because of we thought this was the bottom here. It was just such a short move here that we're looking for a wave 2, a 1, 2, 1 in the orange or yellow, 2, and then a longer 1 and 2. That still is possible. It still could happen. But in either way, I don't think it's going to be a real deep retracement being a wave 2 anyway. But we have to keep that in mind that it still could be another 1, 2 on a bigger scale. But then we're certainly going to surpass this 162 for this series of a wave 3. We'll go much lower if we have another 1, 2 setup. Okay, so that would be really bearish if we get another 1, 2 setup. So let's keep this nice and simple. Let's say this is a 1, 2, and now we're working on wave 3. So we want a 5-wave series to end this wave 3. So we have a 1, 2, we have a 5-wave move down here for a wave 3. And now we're looking for the bounce for wave 4. Somewhere in this bounce zone from the 431 to 435. So that's where we're going to adjust our target. And then this wave 5 is going to be pretty long. It's going to be another 5-wave move that's going to be just smaller. If we make it to this target, it's just going to be just smaller than this wave here, but it's going to be much bigger than this wave 1. Usually wave 1 and 5 have some sort of symmetry, but in order to get down here to our target, this is going to be a longer wave 5. So we keep that in mind. So here's what I'm trying to say to you. We're going to have some sort of pattern, tricky pattern. We're going to be more tactical. We're going to trade mostly with futures unless we see a setup. And when we see a pattern near completion or complete, we're going to look for a 5-wave move down. But don't get complacent with a 5-wave, the first 5-wave. It's going to be probably a wave 1. It's going to look like a 5-wave move, may just surpass the bottom, and that could be it technically. But I think we'll get a wave 2 pullback, and we have to look for catalysts, because Thursday night after the bell is Powell into we also have a GDP Thursday as well, and then Friday I'm just kind of mapping this out. Friday we have a catalyst as well. I got to remember what that is, but we have Powell and then some sort of inflation data. So this will probably be pretty impulsive if we can get that Friday to be our catalyst to the downside. I don't know if 2 days is enough for this move here. Possibly. We have Wednesday and Thursday where we can get a move. And then Friday, if we can get bearish from our catalyst, then you'll probably see a very sharp grinding move, and probably more intense than this, to finish off this wave 3. Okay. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to finish off wave 3. And then we'll be looking for another bounce, but we'll get to that. And then if Friday is bearish, then we'll be looking for Monday to finish off this move and into turnaround Tuesday. So that's kind of our timeline. It all depends on this wave here. If this wave takes some time and we have like a flat pattern will probably take the most time out of this, unless something happens quick tomorrow. Maybe we get our A, our B, and then by Friday have an impulsive C. And remember, B can actually make a new low. B can, be in a flat pattern. It could be all the way down to the lows, retesting it. So just don't get too bullish here. Be a little bit more tactical. If you make some money, get out and wait for another setup. Okay, so we're looking for an A, B. It can be a shallow B. The B can be a triangle inside. All sorts of things. So don't get chopped up here in a wave 4. We have A, possible B, wherever that might end. And then if we have our B, which can be pretty nasty at that, by Friday, look for a bullish Friday, and we'll look for an impulsive move up to finish off. If we haven't made it to the 382 yet, it's likely we make it up there. So just keep that in mind. We're looking for a 3, 3, 5, or a triangle. Not likely a zigzag. That would be our typical wave 2. So look for something that wastes time, and then we'll talk about it again tomorrow and the next day. So make sure you hit that bell. Make sure you subscribe, because we go through these videos often, and I try to do them every single day for you. And so that's how we're gonna have to watch this pattern unfold day by day, and until we are almost setting up for another move. We should likely hit this 23.6 as our initial move, have some trouble, and then pull back, and then we should have a impulsive move to the upside to finish off this possible wave 4. All right, so all this wave 4 is 40% retracement of this wave 3, and then we look to go lower. And possibly because we have such far distance to go, I just not far enough for another 1-2, because that would take us much lower. That I think we're going to get our wave 4, and this is going to be a catalyst that gives us a nice relentless wave 5 to the downside. All right, you will not buy these dips. Do not buy these dips. I'm telling you now. I'll repeat it. We'll probably get out of our trades by the 50% from the highs around 4.14 and let a couple runners happen around 4.11. But this is remember, this is the chop zone. Remember, this is a big chop zone that we're getting at right here underneath the 417. I think we'll go to the gap, close the gap. You have the point of control at the 412 and then the target at 410. You got a lot of stuff going on here, so we won't hold price further than that. Okay, so the VIX. And then we'll let you go. We have the VIX here. And the VIX actually moved up a little further than I thought. So I didn't think we were going to quite get to this. We made a new high, which is fine. We made it right into resistance, and now this is another point where I think we cool off, because I was looking at that 5-wave impulsive move, but instead it ended off with another 5 at the end. Just like I was talking about, you can end off with a 5-wave right here. That could have been the end, but instead it made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move up to go right into resistance. Now this is 5 waves to complete. This is a new low here. You have 5 waves. I don't think it's going to go much higher before some sort of pullback. And if this pullback is anything significant, maybe back down to support around the 15, then, price, it's hard to say. This could be a big pullback because price takes a while in wave 4. And you grind in wave 4, then you have the VIX that pulls back. Okay? So it doesn't have to pull all the way back to here, but there's a good chance that we at least maybe we come down lower. You do have a gap here. We'll have to see how low, but I would start looking for some bearish situations in the market when we get down, if we get down to this point. All right, so I think that's it. Playing with the VIX, it's over the 200, but it's right into resistance. So I think we might reject right back down. And this on the weekly time frame, this will be a big spike if we come back down here. Maybe retest all these MAs. Not sure. We have the 8 EMA here, so that's our trending. Maybe we just come down to that. We don't know yet. We'll have to see what we got going on with market structure as it LEOH structure as it gets down there. So sorry, I can't be super clear on some things, but I do think we get a rejection off of here. I don't think we have enough in us. We are. I'll even show you. We had triple divergence on. Okay, I had to put up a different board here. So we have negative divergence here on the RSI. The momentum doesn't quite have divergence. We do it on the histogram, so you see the momentum's waning. We're in overbought territory, so we don't have sell signals on these yet, but as soon as tomorrow, we might have those with a gap down on VIX, if that is the case. And we can even check out VIX futures, where things are going negative right now. For now, anything can happen when the Chinese market or the Asian markets open, but we have negative divergence on the futures. We're starting to curl down with negative divergence. We're getting a sell signal on Stochh RSI, and we're starting to get a sell signal on the slow stochastic. So you see what I mean? That's that's what's looking like tomorrow. It looks like we get our bounce tomorrow. Probability has it, and we should start seeing the bounce start to go through, and we should move our target box down to that 382. Now, it doesn't mean price can't still get up to that point, but that we're looking at about 431 to 435 S&P. We're like 431 to 435 on the S&P. Okay, so that's going to be our target area. Make sure you mark that, and that would do is backtest this head and shoulder as well. So the 435 just comes up just to that line as well. So I'll